Another open dragon mouth, and I'll apologize in advance if I look tired. That's because I am. I just got back from working from a game, and I'm just worn down right now. But I got a video to do, so we'll get right to it. So, Detective Pikachu. I saw the trailer, and this could go either way. Let me put it this way. Now, just keep in mind that I have not played the game yet, but I am familiar with the premise of it. But I did see the trailer, and the CGI, they really try to put in some realism in here. They actually gave Pikachu fur. Um, I got to get used to seeing that compared to the kind of flat to yellow color that he has. I am so used to seeing this Pikachu. I am so used to seeing this one. But now, this one voiced by Ryan Reynolds, and this is usually the part where the purist in me would rage over Pikachu speaking English. But for this movie, I'm letting it slide. Just because that we know that this is not Ash's Pikachu, this is an entirely different one. And again, I have not played the game, so um, I take this as like an alternate reality where somehow this human does understand him. But it does pose quite a few questions. How does he know what Pikachu is saying? Is he psychic? Could he even possibly be a Pokemon himself? I know it's far fetched, but just bear with me. Um, but it just poses so many questions when, I mean, it even established that the other people can't understand Pikachu. They just hear the typical Pika Pika sound that we're so used to hearing. So yeah, how does he know this? So, but of course, like I said, the main thing that concerns me is the CGI for the Pokemon themselves. Now, given that it actually does work out well for some of them, like I especially like it for Charizard, I like it for Bulbasaur. Um, there are some that work out okay, and then we get to the ones that hit Uncanny Valley. Point being, Mr. Mime. Oh my god, is he creepy. I mean, in the animated series, he's just adorable, but this, ugh. And I've already seen the memes of him pantomiming to Pikachu, and I gotta know what. I know they provided his name. I can't remember who it is, but yeah, I'm sure you all know what it is. I'll figure it out. I just can't remember off the top of my head right now. But so just from watching the trailer, I think that this is a movie that you're either going to love or you're going to hate. I don't know which way this one's going to go. Especially as I already noted several times that I have not played the game. I hope to play it very soon, but it'll attract its fans because it's Pokemon. So we'll see what happens. And when is it slated for? Um, I know it's going to be coming out in 2019. Um, May 10th is what I'm seeing right now. So still ways to go. Uh, Now this has been going around social media over the past few weeks. Back on November 10th in Irvine, California, the Furries came to support one of their own in his fight against ALS. We're talking about Tony Dogbomb Barrett. Um, they walked a mile at Orange County Great Park to raise awareness and money for the foundation combating this disease. And of course, a lot of us are probably already familiar with ALS. I had a video a couple years ago where I did the ice bucket challenge. Thanks a lot, John Striper. Um, but how much did they raise? $34,000. That's quite a lot of money. Now, Dog Bomb was diagnosed with ALS, and he's been posting his progress on Twitter. Um, and he's been keeping up the fight against ALS. Um, so good to see that everyone is coming together to raise awareness once again of this and try to help him through this difficult time. Let's see. We got some news from Canada. Now, those who had their childhood up north, especially in the Ontario area, you're probably familiar with a children's show called Polka Dot Shorts, or if you were born, or if you were somewhere between the mid 80s and early 90s, um, Polka Dot Door. There was a character called Polkaroo, which was basically a spotted kangaroo, and yes, it was a costume. It was a very popular character back in the day. It was aired on educational broadcast, educational broadcaster TV Ontario, which is kind of like their version of PBS over here in the States. Now, recently, there has been some legal trouble, and this has to do with the recent legalization of marijuana. Now, why is that? Well, the person who played Polkaroo, oh, what's his name? I know I read it somewhere just a moment ago. Mark Scott. He was the guy who performed in him. Well, he recently came back with a parody called Tokaroo, which was a red-eyed, brown-furred, marijuana-smoking kangaroo, which looks pretty close to Polkaroo. And I have the photo up, and yeah, it does not have the spots, but the shape definitely looks like him. Now, TV Ontario responded to this in a statement to the Canadian press saying, quote, Polkaroo is an established and trusted trademark TV Ontario Kids mascot that is appreciated across generations. While we can understand the nostalgia, TVO does not endorse this parody of Polkaroo or the fact that it's being associated with an activity that is neither legal for children nor recommended for use by children. We are asking Mark Scott to take appropriate action to stop the use of this character. So in other words, they are giving him a cease and desist order. But Scott claims that this was purely coincidental. They're only similar that they want to teach young minds to grow. Um, um, this is a tough one. There are mascots that are catered towards adults, and I know that there are costumes that I know there was one for smoking marijuana. Well, maybe not smoking marijuana itself. Um, was that also in Canada? I can't remember. I know it's somewhere, but not to mention that it's a parody, and I'm not familiar with Canadian law. I only know law in the states, and parody is covered under fair use if it's a parody. Um, Now, at the same time, with the similarities between them and I mean, I can understand TV Ontario's point of view. I totally understand. Um, it's illegal for children to smoke marijuana in Canada, and they would probably get the impression if they saw this, they would start smoking marijuana, and I totally understand that. But this is where parenting would have to come into play here. You gotta teach your kids about certain stuff which they are not ready. Um, how can I put this? Yeah, pardon me. I'm trying to pick the right words here, but I mean, I wonder if I don't know if comprehend is the right word for it, but I think you understand where I'm going with this. But so let me know what you think about it. Um, I mean, who's right, who's wrong? Are they both right? Let's see. Also going around is that CNN is going to be covering furries, and it is going to be on the show This Is Life with Lisa Lang, and it will be the season finale. And as of this recording, um, it's currently 12:28 a.m. over here, so it is technically Sunday. So I should say it's going to be today. You have to check your local listings, but I think when are they going to be doing this one? At 10 p.m. Eastern time and 10 Pacific time. So so it looks like they'll be airing it twice. They will be airing at 10 o'clock Eastern time. Well, that's also 7 o'clock if you're in the Pacific coast. So I have like a slideshow of how they're covering it. Um, the first panel is about it has the headline "What You Don't Get About Furry Personas," um, followed by the truth about one of the world's most misunderstood subcultures, and it definitely is. Though we are trying to get everyone to better understand it, and we are getting more and more fans by the day. Um, and it notes that with roots dating back to the first furry convention in the late 1980s. The furry community, aka furry fandom, has been largely misunderstood in popular culture. Late 80s, what I want to say that it was DuckCon that they're talking about because a convention had split off of a sci-fi convention. Um, Let me do a quick search just to make sure. The very first one. Wow, even a Google search is not helping me that much. It's about everyone attending their first furry convention. Um, Earliest events? Okay, it mentions from the 1980s led to the founding of um, or Brazil. Let's see, because the first one that comes to mind for me is DuckCon. I don't know if that's the first one. Don't hold me to that. I have to do a quick little scan here, and but yeah, this pretty much split off of sci-fi conventions. All right, so this is according to this in 1989, and I'm taking it from a WikiFur page. So I don't know about the accuracy of this. Mark Merlino and Ron O'Reilly decided to expand on the furry party concept and host the first prototype furry convention, Conference Zero. Conference continued to be the premier international gathering place of furry fans until other independent furry themed conventions were organized. Uh, yeah, so this so this is what you could argue could be what it is. So again, I have to do a little more research as to which one was the very first furry convention. Um, Let me do a quick search of DuckCon because, like I said, that's the first one that came to mind. Okay, that one was held in. See, that's a science fiction convention, and that was first held in 1991. And it was the first three were chaired by Candace King, the wife of Robert King, who I'm very familiar with and works the staff at Midwest Furfest. I'm very familiar with him, so they go a long ways back. Uh, DuckCon 3 was the first year that the convention had a furry track of programming. That furry track grew over the years and eventually split off in 2000 to become its own convention, Midwest Fur Fest. So that's where Midwest Fur Fest came from, eventually coming off of DuckCon. So that's what I was thinking of. Let's see. What else is talking about here? Furry fandom is a community of enthusiasts who celebrate characters and stories involving anthropomorphic animals, in other words, fictitious animal characters that have human traits. That's a very good definition. Many furries complain that the media too often misrepresents them, representing in hurtful mischaracterizations and misperceptions. Well, I can argue that it's that media coverage has gotten better, though I'm not denying that there has been some bad coverage back in the day. So I would argue that it's not as bad as it was back then. If anything negative comes out, it's usually on just some random people on social media. It still happens on YouTube, which I recently did a search. I don't usually search furries on YouTube just because of some stupid stuff that happens, but I didn't. I was unaware of this happening. That there's something going on with a something with TikTok, which is a either app or website that I'm not familiar with, and they're up against. There's this little thing going on between furries and gamers. I don't know what it is, but I don't even know if this is real or not. But yeah, that's why I haven't been searching furries on YouTube for quite a while, just because of some stupid stuff. But so they list several things about the furry fandom personas. One, of course, furries are not about sex or fetishes, but they do note, however, the furry fandom is estimated between 100,000 and 1 million fans worldwide. Really, that's a pretty wide estimate. So I am not happy with that number they're throwing out. I'm sure it is over 100,000, but are they really not? Well, I guess we haven't really done a. We don't have it. Of course, we won't have an exact number, but and it um a good estimate would be good, but that's quite a wide range. So I think that we get a little more information about how many consider themselves furries and get ourselves a better estimate. To me, that's 100,000 to 1 million seems a little too broad for me. But anyway, uh, furry fandom does include a small percentage who celebrate their ideas of sexually attractive animal fantasy characters with human traits, which it it does happen in the furry fandom, but they are pretty self conscious on talking about it to anyone that's not in the furry fandom. Two, furries are not all about costumes, and well, I can say that most people do not even own a fursuit. Um, let's see. In fact, it's estimated that most people in furry fandom do not own costumes. One reason they typically cost upwards of $2,000 or more. Um, that depends. That depends on several things. Uh, like Spike, my dragon was worth $1,500. Sapphire cost me $3,100. But that's because that she's a little more detailed. So having the cost of your fursuit depends on several things. One, the fursuit maker. Two, is it a partial suit or a full fursuit? The partial suits are going to be much less than your full fursuits. And how detailed is it? Does it include airbrushing? Does it contain like the little spikes on Spike's head, wings, certain details on your character? That will definitely be considered with the cost. But this it's one of those things that if you're considering a fursuit, it's a good idea to look around um, with different fursuit makers, and quite often they will have a queue as to how many they will take in, and they fill up pretty quickly depending on how popular their suits are, how good they make them. Um, like Spike was made by Noble Wolf, and Sapphire was made by Comic Crazy, and I have to give props to her because yeah, she made Sapphire amazing. Let's see. It continues on. Nonetheless, costumes do allow fans to immerse themselves in their personas. Some fursuiters use their costumes to shed awkward feelings and enjoy more confidence in social interaction. That's a pretty interesting point that they make here. Yeah, I see many times that they put on their fursuits and they're in a different personality. And it's not just limited to furries. This happens with mascots. I've recently come across a few videos with. Um, I think it was either middle school or high school. They often show this with Now this recent one, I don't know if they said that he had a disability or something. Um, yeah, I have to double check that one, but it's whenever I see videos like this, it usually had um, it's usually because that this person has a disability, but it's out there um, all over middle schools, high schools. They have someone in their class performing in a costume, and they become an entirely different person when they put the fur on. Uh, how are they going to continue here? Many furries are into fur art. Um, yes, that is one of the main aspects of the furry fandom is the art. This gives many people a chance to show their creativity. Many fans show off their various personas by creating imaginative digital illustrations. Not just digital, they go through different mediums. Some still use the traditional methods. I see many using color pencil. Some may use. Do they still use crayon anymore? Um, yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but um, some use paint. Um, some may use oil-based paint. So there's different mediums, not just digital. And I think that they meant four on this one. Furries are becoming more accepted. Um, Generally, yes. Um, and I think that is going to depend on um, how the furry fandom develops over time. And like I say, we'll see what happens. You may be surprised by who furries are in their daily lives. Furries say their ranks include corporate executives, younger people, older people, singles, couples, mothers, fathers, students, and community leaders. Yeah. Um, Chances are that someone you came across and met throughout your lifetime, there's a good chance that one of them's a furry. Yeah, even in a corporate setting, they could be one there. Um, like one that's been around for a little while, Boozy Badger. He is a lawyer based out of Philadelphia. Um, so, oh yeah, and Kage works in the scientific field over in the Raleigh area here in North Carolina. Let's see. Furry conventions are a focal point of the fandom. Anthrocon in Pittsburgh drew 8,407 people this year. He raised more than $42,000 for the animal related charity, according to its website. And yes, I have noted Anthrocon, now the second largest fur con in the world, has been beaten by Midwest Furfest last year. And I'm going to get to Furfest in just a little bit. But I had noted that the previous year, it looked like that the attendance was peaking and then it started going back up again. It may have been, as I've noted before, may have been a correction based on the drop in growth the previous year. Let's see. So yeah, once again, that will be airing today at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on CNN, called "This Is Life with Lisa Lang," and and we'll see how they portray this. Let's see. Yeah, this is going to be one of those nights where I have a lot to talk about. I've already gone 30 minutes in, and I still have two more things to talk about. The next one, I should have covered this one a little earlier because there was a release party for um, one artist, one furry artist that I have become fond of um, recently. Avian Invasion has just released its first album, Children of the Stars, and I highly recommend him. Some great music. So so here it is. That's Avian Invasion, Children of the Stars. If you haven't listened to his music, go to his YouTube channel. Go to his. He has a Spotify. Check those out. Give a listen to it. He has some great EDM tracks for you to listen to, and he will be appearing at Furfest. So do check him out. Speaking of Furfest, I think it's about time that we talk about that. And before we do, I do want to make a little note here that I was originally going to be appearing on Thursday, but now I'm going to have to push it back to Saturday. That is because that I got some last minute work that I've been scheduled to do. Luckily, that's in the morning, and that will allow me to fly up to Furfest um, Saturday afternoon. So yeah, I'm going to be a little late attending this convention, but I will be there. So so don't worry, you'll still see me around, and of course I'm going to be missing quite a bit from the. I'm going to be missing half the convention, but better late than never, I guess. And well, I was going to talk about future conventions, but I'll take care of that in another video. But for now, let's talk about what's going to be in the schedule. Thursday. Oh yes, Fuzzy Logic is bringing back their escape rooms. If you want to try it out, be sure to sign up for one of them. They have several slots throughout the convention. There are two. Um, well, maybe not two, because I think they got. Yeah, they just say bookings, which just suggests there's more than one. But they got the late afternoon bookings and evening bookings for Thursday. Registration, pre-registered badge pickup for sponsors and shiny sponsors at 4:30. All other memberships will be at 5, and at the door registration will be at 6. And then Thursday dance at 10, and the DJs. Um, Someone put a really weird spelling in this one. I'm guessing it's pronounced Demania. Demana? I don't know. It's spelled DEMA paragraph mark NA. And I don't know what that symbol is. I have no idea how that's pronounced. That is a weird way to spell it. But that'll be House and Psy styles. 11 p.m. Norfair playing trap music. Midnight will be by Dune, who will play electro and dubstep. 1 a.m. it will be Darrow playing drum and bass and multi-genre. Friday, registration opens at 10 a.m. Opening ceremonies at 11 a.m. and that will be in the grand ballroom. And just a little reminder that just like last year, the convention will be placed in two different buildings. We still have the panel rooms in the Hyatt itself, the dealer's den and the artist alley are in the convention center, which you have to take a walk through the sky bridge to do. And that sky bridge does connect to several of the nearby hotels. So I think that connects to Hilton, DoubleTree, and Embassy Suites. I think. Um, let's see, what else do we got here? Meet the guests of honor at 12, and I will get to the guests of honor shortly. Who Wants to Be a Voice Actor will be hosted by Edward Bosco, Kaiser Nico, uh, Timber Puffers, and Zeke the Tiger, good friend of mine. Uh, arcade, video gaming, those are opened up. Dealer's Den and Art Show will be opening at um, 1 p.m. and those are in the convention center. Let's see. Oh yeah, I completely forgot that someone puts a hockey game in off site. Let's see, what else do we got? Oh yes. If you were at Furfest last year and you went to the opening ceremonies, you probably saw that animation at the beginning of the opening ceremonies. That was by Jib Cody, and I've become a big fan of his animations. It's some amazing work. He has a panel himself called "How Fandom Changed My Life in 1 Year." But check out his work. Some great stuff. Let's see, what else do we got? MFF Poker Tournament at 4 p.m. That's going to be in Da Vinci, which is the gaming area, I think. Uh, there's another thing that I've been noticing throughout the schedule. There's a lot of avian themed panels. That's because the theme is aviation. So funny how that it kind of got the theme that we got from Anthem Crossroads East, but I think that was just a coincidence. Um, we got one called Fursuiting Outside the Fandom at DFW at 6 p.m. Furry TV Commercials 6. They'll be in Hartsfield, and they're going to be focusing on insurance company mascots. Like the one I know of is Geico. That's easily the most memorable one I can think of. And there's also this it's out there on YouTube somewhere, but there is one of a local insurance company. It's really weird. There's someone in this eagle costume who sells its insurance by laying an egg. It's a very weird commercial, but it's out there on YouTube. Um, well, speaking of aviation, there's a panel about aviation. It's about teaching the basics of flying a plane. That's at 8 p.m. And just noticed that there is a baby fur meet and greet at 9 p.m. I wonder how that one's going to turn out after what happened at Califer the other year. Just saying. Um, let's see what else. Oh yes, I comedy better when I've had a few. It's just Alkali and Bandez drinking and just talking. It's a funny show. I have something. I have a panel like that recorded back at BLFC. If you want to check that out, see what that's like. Friday dance. Um, 10 p.m. I already mentioned Avian Invasion will be performing, playing house music. 11 p.m. Scroy playing multi-genre. Uh, midnight Rekka playing electro, and 1 p.m. Nonstop Pup, and I don't even know what genre that is. They were just messing around. 11:30, the original Whose Line Is It Anyway? And this is a panel I usually go to, but unfortunately, because of work, I will not be able to attend this one. But I highly recommend doing this one. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at a recording when I get back. Too bad I'm gonna miss that one. Let's see. Saturday. Oh, what do we got? Deal Stand Art Show will be opening up at 10. Registration, same thing. Uh, Here's one that's caught my attention. Zoophobia with guest of honor Vivs. Um, I was a little curious as to why this panel was called Zoophobia. And it turns out that it's about one of her web comics. Let's see what else we got. When are they doing the fursuit photo shoot? No, that's not it. It was the menagerie I was thinking of. When do they have that one scheduled? Because I was so sure. Let's see. Yeah, yeah. Give me a second here, because there should be one. There should be the menagerie on the schedule somewhere. Yeah, that's why I missed it. Fursuit Menagerie is at 1 p.m. and I'm not going to make that one in time, unfortunately, due to my scheduling. Let's see. Charity, whose line is it anyway? 4 p.m. That is located Convention Center. That's what this list says. Convention Center rooms 44 to 49. Hmm. Okay. It's a little different. Speaking of, where did they put the original one? Same thing. So they move Whose Line to the convention center. Okay. Let's see. What else do we got? Furry variety show. Oh yeah, we got a bunch of big events going on at the same time. Furry variety show, 7 p.m. That is held at the convention center, rooms 44 to 49. Three-headed monster at Hartsfield. Floor Wars, that is at the Grand Ballroom. So all those happening at the same time at 7 p.m. So pick your poison. Drag It Show Live at Rosemont A at 8 p.m. Yeah, my eyes want me to sleep right now. I know I've been going a long time on this right now. Let's see. Saturday Dance. Who do we have? Takoon playing trance at 10. For 11 o'clock, we have Tech Fox playing trap. Midnight Treats playing dubstep and bass house. And 11 a.m., Rocco Jackal playing drum and bass. Sunday, Um, oh yes, this will be a good time for me to talk about this. I have a panel that will be occurring on Sunday at 11 a.m. called Chronicles of a Mascot, which I will be talking about stories from um, my experiences playing different characters. Because I've been doing mascotting since 2010, and that's and there is plenty to talk about, especially going a full season in sports. Let's see. So yeah, that will be 11 a.m. over in SeaTac. Let's see. Who else do we have? Oh, charity auction going on at the same time. That's at the O'Hare Ballroom. Uh, okay, paper airplane pandemonium. So it's just everybody making paper planes and just flying them around. Had John Wayne. Let's see. Anywhere else on here? Fursuit dance competition, 1 p.m. That is going to be at the Grand Ballroom. Fursuit games at 2 p.m. at the Convention Center, rooms 44 to 49. Um, oh, yes, I should talk about this one. Um, this requires a little bit of a background. There is a memorial for Mr. Fred Patton. He recently passed away. Um, for those who don't know him, he has been with the furry fandom since it first started. Um, back into like all the way back. What was the name of that? It's how far back did he go? At LostCon. What else did he get? Uh, Roar Brazel. Yes, yes, yeah, way back to the science fiction conventions I mentioned earlier. Um, he was the guy that pretty much knew a lot about furries. Um, if it had anything to do with anthropomorphic animals, he would know about that. And he was pretty much a great choice for editing furry fiction anthologies, and that was for exclusive furry publishers. He wrote articles, he wrote books about the fandom, and that includes his history of furry conventions. And what was the yeah, and that book was named Furry Fandom Conventions 1989 to 2015. Um, Now, he suffered a stroke many years ago. He recovered from that and continued to write and attend different conventions. Um, so, with that, he was one of the original furries back in the 80s. So they'll be doing a memorial for him at 3:30, which will be at LAX. Let's see. Closing ceremony is 5 p.m. Main ballroom and Dead Dog Dance. They have for 8 p.m. Protocoli playing techno. 8:45 p.m. will be Wilden on Wax playing hip hop and turntablism. It's not a genre we hear that often at FurCons, but something different. 9:30 p.m. Vander playing electro. 10:30 p.m. will be New World Otter playing multi-genre. Well, that was a mouthful for this schedule. So, uh, how long have I been doing this video for? 50 minutes already? Wow, I've really been a motor mouth tonight, haven't I? Okay, so different things we need to note. If you're going to be traveling um, to Chicago via O'Hare Airport, there is a shuttle that will take you directly to the Hyatt if that's where your hotel is at. And I'm sure that there's plenty of other hotels that have shuttles that go there. Just check with your hotel before you head over here. And if you're going to be going to Midway Airport, you will have to get there by the L train. And to do that, you will take the Orange Line over to downtown at the Lake and Clark station, and then you'll transfer over to the Blue Line, and then you'll travel on there until you going towards O'Hare Airport, and you will get off at the Rosemont station. And from there, it is a few minutes walk over to the Hyatt. So that's how you will get there. Registration, pre-registration has already ended. How much is it going to cost? At the door, standard is going to be $65. Sponsors $150, and shiny sponsors $275. If you plan on single day, Friday is $25, Saturday is $40, and Sunday is $25. Let's see. Guests of honor, who are we bringing? We got 3 different ones. Artist will be J.D. Leclady. I probably mispronounced that. It's probably Lacleed. Lacleed. I will get it right eventually. He's the artist and author behind Ask the Werewolves, which is a multimedia blog that lets readers ask an eccentric wolf couple any lycanthrope related questions that may be on their minds. He also created the fantasy webcomic El Indon and has contributed to multiple issues of the anthology zine, Werewolves Versus. And he's also provided the illustration for their banner this year. And this will be his first time at MFF. So the second guest of honor is an animator called Vivzy Pop. I already touched upon her a little while ago. Also known as Vivian Madrano, who is a comic artist and a graduate from the School of Visual Arts in New York City. She produces webcomics and animated shorts, fan art, and music videos. Her YouTube channel has over 590,000 subscribers and over 88 million hits. She's in a variety of software, including TV Paint, Adobe Premiere, After Effects, SAI, Photoshop, and she's recently moved to the Los Angeles area from Maryland to pursue her animation career. And our third guest of honor is an author called Kyle Keel. I'm bad with names, pardon me with that. Keel Gold. And he's been in the furry fandom for over 25 years. He has authored more than 20 books has won 12 Ursa Major Awards for his stories and novels. Now, outside of Furries, he has a novel called Out of Position, which he co-won the Rainbow Award for Best Gay Novel of 2009. And his novel Black Angel was selected to be part of the Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers of America Fantasy Story Bundle in 2017. So those three will be at the convention, and of course you'll get the chance to meet them. Charity this year is going to be Sit, Stay, Read. And their mission is to advance children's literacy skills using an engaging curriculum, certified dogs, and dedicated volunteers. They started up in 2003 with just 3 volunteers, taking dogs into a few Chicago public libraries. This school year, they plan to reach 2,600 struggling young readers in Chicago's economically fragile communities by working in 92 classrooms in 17 Chicago public schools. In their partner schools, an average of 95% of the children are from low-income households, and at least 71% of the third grade students read below grade level. This program connects children in kindergarten through third grade with trained literacy volunteers and certified reading assistance dogs in a curriculum that develops reading and writing skills and social emotional learning. So literacy, so this is something that I've never heard of before. Using dogs to help struggling students from K to 3. See, I've never heard of that before. So I'm curious to see how they do that. So this would be some questions I would like to ask them when I arrive there. So, but they have some videos up. I think they have a YouTube channel. Uh, so yeah, they will be at the. I think they'll be in the dealer's den. Of course, they got the charity auction. There's the charity poker tournament. So we'll have plenty of that going around. Like I said, they'll be in the dealer's den, and you'll get a chance to take a look at this charity. But for now, I think that is all I need to say about Furfest. Again, I was planning to arrive on Thursday, but now it's going to have to be pushed back to Saturday due to my work. But I will be there, although I will be late. So we are almost at 1 hour. Gee, I almost broke 1 hour. And I think this is the longest video I've ever done for just an open dragon mouth. I'm tired now. I'm going to bed. This dragon's mouth is now closing.